6:30 a.m. Same time, same room, same man sitting on the edge of his bed, staring at his hands like they belong to someone else. He shuffles to the kitchen. Same chair, same table, same empty feeling spreading through his chest like cold water. For 18 months, breakfast had been the same ritual. Black coffee, dry toast, silence, not peaceful silence, dead silence. The kind that makes you feel like you're disappearing from the inside out. "I'm just going through the motions," he whispers to himself. "I'm not really here." What happens when the most important meal of the day becomes a reminder of everything you've lost? When the table that used to be alive with conversation becomes a monument to emptiness? When even the simple act of eating feels like pretending to be alive? I'm about to tell you about 3 men who sat at breakfast tables just like yours, who felt that same hollow ache, who believed that emptiness was just their new normal, until they discovered something that sounds almost too simple to be true. It wasn't a supplement, it wasn't a medication, it wasn't even complicated. It was 3 ancient foods, foods their grandfathers ate without thinking, that somehow held the key to feeling alive again. The first food will surprise you. The second will challenge everything you think you know about morning energy. But the third will shock you, because it's something you've been avoiding your entire adult life, convinced it was bad for you. And it might be the most powerful thing you can put in your body after 60. Let me tell you about Thomas and the breakfast that saved his life. Before we dive in, let me ask you something simple, friend. Where are you watching this from? Drop it in the comments. We may be scattered by distance, but we are walking this road together. Still here, still breathing, still worth it. Thomas, 64, had been eating the same breakfast for 3 years. Instant oatmeal, skim milk, artificial sweetener. The breakfast his doctor recommended for his cholesterol. The breakfast that was supposed to make him healthy. "I eat because I have to," he told his wife Patricia. "Not because I want to, not because I enjoy it, just because my body needs fuel." Patricia watched Thomas disappear bite by bite. Not physically, he looked the same. But the man who used to wake up hungry, who used to talk over breakfast, who used to reach for her hand across the table, that man was gone. Thomas had been a carpenter for 40 years. He'd retired expecting to feel free. Instead, he felt like he was slowly suffocating. Every morning, he'd sit at that table and feel the weight of another empty day pressing down on him. "I don't want anything anymore," he told Patricia one morning. "Not food, not coffee, not even the newspaper. It's like someone reached inside me and turned off everything that used to make me feel alive." Patricia had tried everything. Different cereals, fresh fruit, homemade muffins. Nothing worked. Thomas would eat mechanically, staring past her, lost in some gray space she couldn't reach. That's when Patricia's sister, a nutritionist, said something that changed everything. "Depression isn't just about brain chemistry," she said. "It's about gut chemistry and breakfast. Breakfast is when your gut decides how you're going to feel all day. Eggs, real eggs, not egg whites, not egg substitutes, whole eggs with their golden yolks intact. The food that Patricia's grandmother had called sunshine on a plate. Thomas's doctor had forbidden eggs for years. Cholesterol, he'd said, heart disease. But Patricia's sister explained something the doctor had never mentioned. Eggs contain choline, the nutrient that your brain uses to make acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter that regulates mood, memory, and the will to live. But here's the secret, Patricia's sister said. It's not just about the choline, it's about the ritual, the smell, the sound, the act of cooking something real for yourself. Your body needs to remember what it feels like to be cared for. Thomas started eating 2 eggs every morning, not because he believed it would work, because Patricia asked him to, because he'd do anything to feel like himself again. After 1 week, Thomas noticed something impossible. He could taste the eggs, not just protein, richness, satisfaction, like his taste buds were waking up from a long sleep. After 2 weeks, he started feeling present. Not happy exactly, but aware, like he was actually sitting at the table instead of just going through the motions. After a month, Thomas did something that shocked them both. He got up from the table and kissed Patricia's forehead. Not a routine kiss, a grateful kiss. The kind that says, "Thank you for not giving up on me." It wasn't just about the eggs, Thomas told me later. It was about feeling worthy of something real, something nourishing, something that took effort to make. Like I deserve to be fed, not just fueled. After 3 months, Thomas woke up one morning and felt something he hadn't felt in years. Hunger, not just physical hunger. Hunger for the day, for conversation, for Patricia, for life itself. "I started looking forward to breakfast," he said. "Not just the food, the whole experience, sitting with Patricia, talking about our plans, feeling like I had plans worth talking about." Then one morning he tasted the yolk, warm, golden, real. It wasn't just the food, it was the ritual, the care, the feeling of being worthy of something made with love. Let me ask you something real. Have you been feeding your body? Or just fueling it? Tell me in the comments, what's one food from your childhood that made you feel loved? We're not here to just survive the morning. We're here to wake up to it. Still here, still tasting, still human. But nutrition is just the beginning. The second man's story is about something that will challenge everything you think you know about morning energy. Something that sounds completely backwards but works like magic. Robert, 69, had been a morning person his entire life. Up at 5 a.m., coffee by 5:15, ready to conquer the world by 6. But somewhere in his late 60s, that energy had just disappeared. "I drink more coffee now than I ever have," he told his wife Linda. "But I feel more tired than I ever have, like I'm running on empty all the time." Linda watched Robert pour cup after cup of coffee into his body, chasing an energy that never came. He'd be wired but exhausted, alert but empty, caffeinated but somehow still asleep inside. Robert had been drinking coffee for 50 years. It was his fuel, his ritual, his way of starting the day. But now it felt like he was drinking it to survive, not to thrive. "I'm tired of being tired," he told Linda one morning. "I'm tired of needing caffeine to feel human. I'm tired of feeling like I'm always trying to catch up to myself." Linda had tried everything, different coffee brands, espresso, energy drinks. Nothing worked. If anything, more caffeine made Robert more anxious, more scattered, more disconnected from himself. That's when Linda's cousin, a sleep specialist, said something that sounded completely backwards. "Maybe the problem isn't that Robert needs more energy," she said. "Maybe the problem is that he's been forcing energy instead of creating it." Oatmeal. Real oatmeal. Not instant, not quick cooking. Steel-cut oats that take 40 minutes to cook properly. The breakfast that releases energy slowly, steadily, like a wood fire instead of a match. "Your body doesn't want to be shocked awake," Linda's cousin explained. "It wants to be gently awakened. Oats contain complex carbohydrates that release glucose slowly. Your brain gets steady fuel instead of a sugar spike followed by a crash." But here's the secret that changed everything for Robert. It wasn't just about the oats, it was about the process, the slow cooking, the waiting, the ritual of creating something that couldn't be rushed. Robert started cooking steel-cut oats every morning, 40 minutes of stirring, 40 minutes of waiting, 40 minutes of being present with the process instead of rushing toward the result. After 1 week, Robert noticed something impossible. He didn't need coffee to feel awake, not alert, not wired, but awake. Like his body was generating its own energy instead of borrowing it from caffeine. After 2 weeks, he started feeling steady, not high energy, not low energy, just consistent, like he had a generator inside him instead of a battery that needed constant recharging. After a month, Linda noticed something she hadn't seen in years. Robert moved differently, not rushed, not sluggish, just present, like he was actually in his body instead of trying to escape it. It wasn't about the oats, Robert told me later. It was about learning to wait, to let my body wake up naturally instead of forcing it awake, to trust that I had enough energy inside me if I just let it surface. After 3 months, Robert experienced something he thought was impossible. He woke up feeling rested, not because he'd slept more, but because he'd stopped fighting his own energy, stopped trying to force himself to feel alive. I realized I'd been treating my body like a car, he said, trying to put more fuel in it. But it's not a car, it's a garden. It needs to be nurtured, not fueled. No more caffeine chases, just quiet, steady fire from oats and patience. Not energy spikes, just presence, not wired, just real. Let me ask you something simple. Are you rushing through life or stirring something that lasts? Comment below. What would your mornings feel like if they started slow? You don't have to chase energy. You were born with it, still here, still steady, still strong. But even steady energy isn't enough if your body has forgotten how to feel pleasure. The third man's story. That's about something that will shock you. Something you've been avoiding your entire adult life. Something that might be the most powerful aphrodisiac you can put in your body after 60. Martin, 66, had been following the same diet for 10 years. Low fat, low cholesterol, low sodium, low everything. His doctor was proud of his numbers. His wife Carol was proud of his discipline. But Martin felt like he was slowly disappearing. I eat what I'm supposed to eat, he told Carol. I do what I'm supposed to do. But I don't feel anything. It's like I'm following a prescription for someone else's life. Carol watched Martin eat his prescribed breakfast every morning. Whole grain toast, sugar-free jam, skim milk, the breakfast that was supposed to keep him healthy, the breakfast that was keeping him alive, but not living. Martin had been avoiding fat for so long that he'd forgotten what food could taste like, what pleasure could feel like, what satisfaction could do for the soul. I don't enjoy anything anymore, he told Carol one morning. Not food, not anything. It's like I'm living in black and white while everyone else is living in color. Carol had tried to make his approved foods more interesting. Different spices, creative presentations. Nothing worked. Martin would eat dutifully, mechanically, like he was taking medicine instead of having a meal. That's when Carol's brother, a chef, said something that shocked them both. You know what Martin needs? He said, bacon, real bacon, the kind that makes your whole house smell like heaven. Are you ready for this? The third food that brought Martin back to life? Bacon. Yes, bacon. The food that every doctor had forbidden, the food that represented everything wrong with the American diet, the food that was supposedly killing him. But here's what Martin's doctor had never told him. Fat doesn't just provide energy, it provides satisfaction, the kind of deep cellular satisfaction that tells your body it's been properly fed, the kind that makes you feel like you deserve good things. Carol's brother explained something that changed everything. Your brain is 60% fat, he said. Your hormones are made from fat. Your cell membranes are made from fat. You've been starving the very substance that makes you feel alive. Martin started eating 2 strips of bacon every Sunday morning. Not every day, just Sunday. His one transgression, his one act of rebellion against the diet that was keeping him alive but not living. After 1 week, Martin noticed something impossible. He could taste the bacon, not just salt and fat, smokiness, richness, satisfaction, like his taste buds were waking up from a decade-long sleep. After 2 weeks, he started feeling alive, not healthy, not virtuous, but alive, like he was actually living in his body instead of just maintaining it. After a month, Carol noticed something she hadn't seen in years. Martin would smile while eating, not just the bacon, everything, like he'd remembered what pleasure felt like.
Come back alive.
After 3 months, Martin experienced something he thought was impossible. He started wanting things again, not just food, everything, Carol, life, experiences, adventures, himself. It wasn't about the bacon, Martin told me later. It was about giving myself permission to enjoy something, to feel like I deserved pleasure, to remember that being alive isn't just about staying alive. After 6 months, Martin's doctor was amazed. His cholesterol was fine, his blood pressure was fine, his weight was fine, but more importantly, Martin was fine, really fine, for the first time in years. I realized I'd been living like I was already dead, he said. Following rules for a life I wasn't actually living. The bacon didn't kill me, the absence of joy was killing me. Sometimes the most powerful medicine is the thing you've been told is poison. Sometimes what your body needs most is not what's good for you, but what's good to you. Sometimes the cure for emptiness is allowing yourself to be full. 6:30 a.m., the same man, the same table. But this time, he is truly here. He feels the weight of the plate in his hands, not just as food, but as a promise. A new hunger, one that goes beyond the meal. Hunger for the day, for conversation, for the woman sitting across from him. Hunger for life itself. I'm really here, he whispers to himself, and this time the truth echoes in his bones. That emptiness didn't vanish overnight. It retreated slowly, meal by meal, bite by bite. Like the sunrise pushing back the shadows, like spring thawing the cold, revealing the hidden life. It's as if he's remembering who he used to be, and more importantly, discovering who he still is. So let me ask you one last thing, friend. What will you put on your plate tomorrow morning? Not just food, but hope. Will you crack 2 real eggs and watch the golden yolks run? Will you cook steel-cut oats slowly, stirring with intention? Will you give yourself permission to enjoy that one thing perhaps the world told you to avoid? Drop it in the comments. Inspire someone else with your choice. And if the image of someone you love came to mind while watching this, someone who's been going through the motions, someone who's forgotten what it feels like to be hungry for life, who's been silently fading, please send this to them. Sometimes, all we need is a meal and a gentle reminder that we still matter. You're still here, still breathing, still hungry, and you are not done.